practicing the release and a draw motion gets me into where I can feel like the club is being let go. I had bad bunker shots when I dragged my hands. The second pin, I'd be here. Now, if I had to hit one to the front pin, I'd drop my hands a little lower. And I really do like dropping my right leg back.
To feel the hook?
To feel the hook in it, to be able to get my release there. My path is like that.
To that
the second one, yeah.
That's wild.
What? Don't forget, I dropped my right leg back.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So now you know why the path.
Now it feels almost normal.
Right. Now that path looks about right now. Yeah, see? That's how.
Oh, yeah, you said you feel it in the heel, too.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So if I'm feeling in the heel, that's actually an easy way to get that underneath the ball.
Correct, exactly.
I think the most important thing you can do in the bunker, in my mind, is consistently hit about that far behind it. Everything else is secondary. If you hit that far behind it, it's going to come out onto the green. If you hit that far behind it, it's going right there, right? Yep. And if you don't hit the sand, it's going across the green on the other side. So you can say all you want about a bunker shot, but the most important thing is to be able to hit about that far behind the ball. And the reason why people have trouble doing that is they don't center themselves. And what I try to do is put my nose right on that spot, which is right there. Right here. Now, when you hit that spot, it won't show up there because the flange is that wide. It'll show up back here. But in reality, you're trying to hit about this far behind the ball, and you put your nose right on that spot. If I put my head like that, I'll probably hit back here. If I put my head on the ball, you'll hear that click, and it'll go right over the green. So it's the most important thing you can do in the bunker, if you ask me, is center your head and everything about your body right on that spot, because that's your goal, is to hit that spot, not the ball. The ball has nothing to do with it.
When I gave lessons, and I made it very simple, I drew a matchbox. And I put a ball in the middle of the matchbox like that. And I said to my student, look, when you used to light a match in the old days on a matchbox, you'd have to psst. If you went through slowly like that, it wouldn't light. So I drew the matchbox here, and they had to get that to light it. So we call it strike the match. That's the first thing. Secondly, you've got to stand wider in a bunker shot, because you don't want to have a lot of leg action. And if you stand wide, it curtails the amount of leg action you use. And then the most important thing is to set that club as quickly as you can. You can never set it quickly enough. 3 things: stand wide, set the club, light the match.
Let's see you hit one right away. Let's get right.
Yeah, we want to hit the high one though. So now what we're going to talk about is the high shot and reading the sands and the different kinds of shots that we faced up to. Because as we've said, there's more, way more to read in a bunker than there is on a green. Right, here we want this high, soft shot. So the first thing I do, strengthen my grip. Why? Well, let me look at you, Martin, and say this. If I grip the club there, watch the club face, and I weaken my grip, I de-loft it. If I strengthen my grip, look at the loft. You add loft. So by strengthening the grip, you add loft. Secondly, do not ever get your hands in front, because you de-loft the club. You get your hands slightly behind. So my hands are behind. I've strengthened the grip, and now I make sure that I just light the match. Watch this one, baby.
I'm a big believer in making sure you get your stance a little bit wider, making sure you get down on the golf ball a little bit more. And you notice how my club face is laid way open here? To do that, my shaft angle now is going to come back towards the middle of my stance a little bit. So I'm going to have a little bit of a V shape or U shape from the club head to my left shoulder, where in a normal address position, it's almost a straight line. So I get myself very much rooted into the sand. Now I'm very, very stable. My hands are low. Grip pressure's light. My hands are back behind the ball. Now what I'm going to do is just take a real nice shallow low swing. I'm not cocking my wrist too early. I'm taking a shallow swing because I want that club head to slice in underneath like this. I don't want to chop it in to dig it out. I'm trying to let that club head slide in. And my key thought to everybody out there, as you watch this from that camera angle, my key thought is the hosel of the golf club, or the neck of the golf club, that is my leader all the way through. I'm pulling that part of the golf club through the sand and not letting it get buried into the sand and let anything get ahead of it. So this part of the golf club right here is going to be pulled through with the rotation of my body.
That's nice.
We have a rake. Not necessarily for raking the bunker, but give you a straight line. So put him down, right? And I really recommend for a while, maybe 5-10 minutes, you don't hit a golf ball, but you put your left heel onto this line, somewhere there, you stand open, you draw a line to help you if you wish, and then the next thing is you open the club face as much as you like, and I want you to point your grip still at your belly button, so you don't open it like this. So many people are like that, they've heard, get your hands forward, or behind's actually better than forward. So, but for now, point the butt of the club, so open it up, put it on the ground, then grip it, okay? Now we want to try and find the sand. So there's 2 faults here. So what we're trying to do is time it so the bounce of the club lands exactly in your little groove there. And I'll give you a very simple tip. If you're all hands, guess what? You hit it there. If you're one of those that looks up, you're going to hit it too late. So work it out. So if you're somebody who's all hands trying to help it, you've got to find a way to get more chest so you get the club entering the sand there. If you're obviously this person who's very much that, well, then you've got to stay down. I'll let you actually just try and throw it a little bit more with your hands to try and find the spot. So after you've done that for maybe a little bit of time, you know, get comfortable with that. If you can do a couple of lines successfully, then I'll let you have a golf ball. So you go down the line again, finding the sand. And when we come to the golf ball, without thinking about it, we whack it like so, yeah?
One of my all-time favorite sand lessons came from Claude Harmon, who taught you how to get out of the bunker with only one hand. What he was trying to achieve there was to hit the sand with the back of the sand wedge like this, with an open face, and make sure that the handle of the club, the grip of the club, never either led or came from behind like this. That's a death for a sand shot, is either have the handle too far ahead or too far behind. By doing it with one hand, the club always came back to where the handle was pointing at the middle of your body. Doing it with an open face produced results like this.
A couple simple drills that'll help you get the ball out of the bunker nice and high, coming down nice and soft. One of the drills that I do sometimes is I'll actually put sand on the club face, and when I set up to it, the idea is to keep this face open enough that I throw the sand behind me, and that's the path you want in a bunker shot. You want it nice and wide with the toe opening up. As soon as you get steep with the shaft leaning forward, you're going to use that front edge too much and create thick divots. You want nice shallow, wide around you, nice shallow divots, and that should get the ball nice and up. So let me try one with the sand on. Throw it behind me. The ball will come out nice and soft.
Most people are just way too close to it to start, and their club face isn't open enough. We talked about that already. And the importance of getting farther away from it is really huge. Even on a longer bunker shot, you still want to be a little bit farther away from it. You know, logically, I won't open the club face quite as much, and I won't have my hands quite as far back. My goal is always to slip the club past the ball. But I think that when I say normal weight distribution, normal swing off my normal home course sand, the only variance there is that I get a normal ball flight or a normal distance from those 3 normals. Now that I have to hit it farther than normal, I can actually make the same amount of swing with more weight right, Brandel, and hit the ball farther. This particular flag is even a little farther than just the weight shift change would make. When my weight goes to the right, I enter shallower, and the ball will go farther. Here I'll probably swing a little harder than normal with a little more weight right. And that's how I do it. It's pretty much a normal swing. It may be a hair harder than normal, but I like to move my weight around, you know, and just like if I want to hit a short one, I move my weight left if I want to hit a short one. And now I swing a little harder than normal, and I can hit it shorter and create more spin. So, you know, I get in here, I'll lean left. I'm probably 60-40, 70-30 left. And I can get it to go up with more spin.
If you've got a bunker shot that's a little longer than you're comfortable playing with a sand wedge or your gap wedge,
Consider the 9-iron. If you hit it just the same as you would your other wedges, you're going to get a ball that travels a little farther. How many times have you been in a bunker, hitting a 9-iron, perhaps from 100, 110 yards, you hit it fat, and it went 25 or 30 yards? Well, that's what we're trying to do here. So all I'm doing is trying to create that missed shot, but it's a planned shot. So we do it just the same. The stance is the same. I lay the club face open. I aim for the same point in the sand, and I take the same swing, and you get a ball that comes out a little flatter. It gets a little more run out, but it's that less risk involved.
Now we are faced with one of the most difficult trap shots, that a buried lie, or commonly known as a fried egg. I still employ a slightly open stance, but instead of leaving the blade open like this, I close it up. The object now is to hit about 2 to 3 inches in back of the ball, keeping the left hand moving. Like so. This shot you cannot stop, so you have to just sort of lift it out of the trap and let it hit the green and let it roll.
This ball is plugged on an uphill lie. Now what I'm going to do here is I cannot finish high, because the club will not get fully underneath the ball. All I can do is drive it just behind the ball and have the club stick into the ground. So I have to keep leading with my hands. I cannot let the club pass again. But what I want to do is I want to stick it into the ground as such. So the arm and the club stay in a straight line, and I'm just driving it right behind the ball. I'm opening the face. My weight is forward, because we're trying to keep the club underneath the ball. The ball will get out. We just have to drive the club underneath. What we don't want to do is blade it, have our weight back where the leading edge comes up. We have to keep the leading edge down. So my weight is forward. I'm leaning into the hill. I drive it in. And if you notice, the ball popped up. But look, my arm and club are still in a straight line. My hands continued, but it just stuck into the ground. It stayed ahead of the club. I didn't stop my hands and let the club pass.
When you have this uphill lie and you tilt this way, your weight definitely goes a little bit more on your right side. So it's okay to have it on your right, but just don't let it shift to your left as you go through, because if you start shifting, you're going to get level again. And when you get level, you're going to dig into the sand and it's not going to bounce off of it. So you have to really stay still and go ahead and let the club slide underneath the ball.
That's an awfully good one. One other thing that you're doing that shouldn't be lost on the viewer is you are not stopping at the ball. You see so many times when you've got an uphill lie, right after impact, it's almost like the club head has stopped. You are driving hard straight through to complete your golf swing.
Yeah, you know, with this method, it's very important to keep swinging all the way through, because if you stop, the ball's going to it may not even get out of the bunker. So on an uphill lie, if you stop your swing, you're going to have shots like that happen. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and hit it. You'll be amazed doing this how hard you can hit the shot and still have it go a short distance. That's a full swing right there. Might come back a little bit off the hill. That was a full swing and only went about 20 yards.
This is the uphill lie, so my feet are below the ball. Right? So what generally happens is the amateur golfer digs in too much because, of course, his feet are below the ball. He wants to dig in too much. So what I'm doing here is it's the same technique apart from the fact that I'm going to not give it 5 inches behind the ball, but only about 3. So this takes a bit of practice, don't get me wrong. So what we're doing here is we're going slightly nearer the ball to hit through that way. And that's a much better shot than actually trying to dig down because I am below the ball. You have a shallower swing and you're hitting down too much. And of course, that's what causes that problem. This is the horrible one. We hate to see from a distance a ball that we've hit into a bunker and it's rolled up the face and it's stuck here on the downslope. We hate this. The one thing we must not do here is try and get this ball airborne. If I have, this club is 60 degrees, if I open the club up, I have about 80 degrees on this club. Well in advance of the lip. So what we mustn't do is, what amateurs try and do is get here and try and lift the ball up. We follow the slope. We hit down, and we hit down and through, allowing the loft of the club and the bounce of the club to take effect. So open the club face, weight on the left side, and we hit down.
Just like the downhill shot, we have to align our body with the slope. We have to align our body and make sure that we get our weight on the inside of our left foot and keep it there. We have to get our shoulders aligned with the downslope like this. We can't lean back into the slope with gravity and be perpendicular to gravity. We have to lean down the slope like this. Now, for a downhill shot like this, we have to have the face open. We have to make sure that we take the club on a very vertical path. We don't want to hit the sand on the backswing because that's a two-shot penalty. We want to make sure that the club clears that lip, going back, goes vertical, and then down very sharply with an open face, just behind the ball. You have to catch it behind the ball, and then you swing on through like this, keeping the face open. Now let's try this shot. Lean down the slope, weight on the left foot, wide stance, shoulders with the slope. Take the club up, keep the face open going through like this. You have to hit it actually pretty hard.
Well, I don't think any amateur should ever go below 12 degrees of bounce.
Yeah.
Because it'll dig. You're not practicing all the time. Bounce is your friend.
Yeah.
And especially in bunkers, bounce is the most important part about it. If you don't have any bounce, then it's going to be digging.
I'm constantly telling them, open the face, open the face, open the face.
To get more bounce.
And that's what you got to do. You have to open the face to get the bounce, to be able to get it up out of the sand. Yeah. They seem to come in and just come in with a square face. When you come into the square face, it wants to dig. So you got to open that face, get the bounce, and to propel it out of the bunker. See, my big theory behind bunker shots is that if I can consistently hit it behind the ball where I need to and take as minimal sand as possible, I can just land it somewhere near the pin, and it'll stop really quick.
Right.
And that's on all shots.
Yep.
So then, because the big thing about sand is when you're hitting bunker shots and you don't have consistent strike, sometimes it comes out crisp and spins, and sometimes it comes out running.
Right.
Wherever it is, doesn't matter if it's a short shot or a long shot, I'll try and hit it exactly the same behind the ball all the time.
That's something every great bunker player says.
It's just so consistent that way, you know what I mean?
That's awesome. And what's interesting about your motion is how high you finish.
Well, you know what the big thing for me is, I want to be as aggressive and as positive as I can through the hitting zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I try and finish really high because I'm trying to hit that big high cut.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. It's interesting because I try to hit it higher.
Yeah.
I just let it go a little bit faster with my right hand.
Yeah. You see how short your...
Yes. I mean, and for me, I can't get a high bunker follow through.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Why is that?
Because when I think high, I think hands.
Yes. That's your feel.
Yes, my feel.
Yeah.
The reason because we must have the club face open is because you will get a better release throughout the sand. All right? Then the reason because we do this in the bunker is because we're looking for a solid stance, because in the bunker it's very important to stay still. Then the toe must aim to the left, because that will give you a better chance to go throughout the shot. Also, everything is aiming to the left or square, because in the bunker you don't need to turn like you do in the normal shots, but you have to release everything to the left, right? Then the weight on the left side is important, because also that will make you stay still over the ball, and also it will give you a better chance to take the club a little bit more straight up upright. Okay, the hands must be in front, because that will help you on the takeaway to open the club face, which is fundamental in the bunker. Let's play the shot, but now, first of all, let me explain to you a couple more things. You have to think about how much you have to hit behind the ball. It will be about an inch or an inch and a half. And then you have to control the distance by the speed of the club face. Now we have the feet, the knees, the hips, and the shoulders, everything all square but aiming to the left. That will make you swing across the line with the club face open is what we need. Then on the takeaway, we have to make sure that the club face is open on the top. That way. This is square, this is closed. Make sure it's open. The toe of the grip, it has to aim between the ball and the feet. And then on the downswing, the toe of the grip, it has to come to the central of the body and square with the ball, with the open club face right there. And then through, you have to release a little bit, but the right hand, it has to be open. That way. Don't close the right hand, because what happens is that if you do that, you will rotate the club. That means you will close the club face and you will get overspin. So make sure that throughout the swing, the secret is to keep open the club face all the time. And you can do that only with the right hand under. And then you release a little bit, but under, always under, and looking at the hole. All right? Let's play the shot and see what happens. Sometimes you may find it better to use the putter from the bunker. For example, if the lip of the bunker is low. If the lip is high or grassy, the ball will never get out. Also, the putter is a good choice if the pen is on the very front part of the green, because using the sand wedge, we will not be able to stop the ball. When you're using the putter in the bunker, you have to remember the sand is a little bit slower than the grass, so make sure you hit it a little harder. But on other occasions, when the pen is farther away, you may want to chip with the wedge or even with the 9-iron to run the ball down to the flag. The technique is similar to chipping from the fairway, and the result can really be good. Very simple.